So, chatting to past guest and friend of the show, Pat O'Reilly there. He's given me a dig out at work this past while. Right-hand man in Irish microgreens. And he mentioned today being Paddy's Day, he said, it's mad to think that this day 3 years ago, we left work and didn't come back basically because of poxy fucking COVID. And that was a 2-year-long nightmare. And we were just reflecting on that, mad to think it was 3 years ago and what happened after the fact and what was in our heads at the time, 3 years ago, before we knew what COVID was and all the rest of it. But what it had me thinking of was like, fucking hell, so that was 3 years ago to the day, more or less. And we had 2 years of COVID. My business was just shut down and we're open in about a year. And it just had me thinking, I was like, fucking hell, we're only back open a year. So, like the first, month, 2, 3, 4 of that was just like literally crawling out of the ashes of COVID. Orders were on the fucking floor. We didn't know if we'd be brought back into another lockdown. There was all this uncertainty. We'd been off work for 2 years, so we weren't exactly in the rhythm of things, and it was a bit of a nightmare. And then, let's say that was a 3 or 4 month period, so we've only had, 8 or 9 months since then. And, things have been going good, but when I think of what I've fucking achieved over the last fucking year, because for the most part, I have it in my head, I have the new grow room up and running, and I don't have this, and I still need staff, and blah, blah, all fucking negative, and it all based around the idea that I thought I'd be further on than I am. But when Panner said, when he ran the dates by me, I was like, fucking hell, like when I consider what I have got done in that space of time, when I start looking at the donut and not the poxy hole, it just kind of settled me a little, because certain things don't always annoy us. Like let's say you're short, or let's say you're going bald, or let's say you have an insecurity. That's not always at the fore of your mind. People who have an insecurity don't walk around 24 hours a day going, oh my insecurity, whatever it is, the spot on my nose, or my fucking red hair, or fat belly, or whatever the fuck it is. Doesn't matter. People don't walk around with their insecurity at the fore of their mind all the time. And if you do, you've got serious fucking mental health problems, basically. But for the most part, we don't. They flare up every so often, whether it be different social situations or different work situations or whatever. Maybe if you're insecure about a big birthmark on your chest or something, you're going to be a lot more anxious about that on the day that you have to go swimming in front of a load of people than on a fucking cold winter's day when you've 10 layers on you. So our insecurities and our anxieties, they flare up. And an insecurity or an anxiety, not an insecurity, but an anxiety that I would have is not being as far down the road of my business as I would fucking like to think I should be. And I put a lot of pressure on myself, and a lot of self-flagellation, like, for fuck's sake, Fran, you fucking idiot, why haven't you fucking done this, and why haven't you fucking done that? That'd be my fucking internal badgering in my fucking ear that I'm prone to do. But again, even that, it's not perpetual, it's not always there. It kind of flares up every so often. But it is residual, it is there. And you mightn't be consciously thinking about it, but it is eating away at you ever so slightly. So when Pather said to me, it's only 3 years ago, and my knee-jerk thought was, yeah, fuck, we're only out of it a year, so we're only really back fucking 8 or 9 months, and I've done a lot. My base level of anxiety just went, it just calmed down a little. And I wasn't in a particularly anxious moment when he said that. I was just going about my day. But it just goes to show that you have that, or I do at least, that baseline anxiety. And I've noticed it with cannabis as well. So I've essentially been off cannabis entirely for fucking 2 or 3 months now at this stage. It's been that long, I don't even know how long it's been. And I know that if I'm not particularly anxious in this present moment in time, but I know that if I took a bong hit, I'd just deflate a little, my shoulders would fall, and I'd just become more relaxed. And I think that I used to think cannabis was great because when I got that reducing feeling, I was like, and the thought is, I needed that. I needed that. But I haven't consumed cannabis in multiple months. And it's not as though my anxieties are through the fucking roof. I just think I need to get it into my head that I have a base level of anxiety. The cannabis alleviates, but that the answer to my base level anxiety isn't going around being stoned all the time. Not that I ever did. But I suppose in hindsight, reflecting back, I think I consciously or otherwise thought that my stress levels would build until the evening time when I'd have a bong hit and consume some cannabis. So I think I was thinking that my anxiety throughout the day would be rising, and then I'd have a bong hit and I can relax in the evening. But I think if I took a bong hit first thing in the morning, which I would never dream of doing even when I was consuming cannabis daily, I would get that feeling. But I think it brings me below baseline. And I don't think you should, I think we should all strive at least to lower our baseline of anxiety, but I don't think chemically is the way to do it. I think there are other ways, better ways, more mindful ways, getting enough sleep, getting enough exercise, being the right weight, or at least, and having a good trajectory. That's one thing that I find is key with me. If I feel I'm on a good trajectory, like if my weight has been coming down for a number of weeks or months, or if I'm getting faster in my runs, or if I'm doing more push-ups over the course of months, or if the sales are going up in my business. Now, these might be marginal. You might be losing a gram a month in your body weight, or your sales might be going up €2 every 6 months. It doesn't have to be much, provided it's steadily heading in the right direction. And I think the more metrics that you can have on yourself and on your life that are heading in the right direction, however fucking small, because if you're only losing, let's say, a gram of body weight a month, which is, non-existent, that's a lot better than gaining anything, whether it be a gram or a pound. You're not going to put on a couple of pounds if you're losing a gram a month. You fucking can't. And it's the same with everything else. You're not going to want for sales. Like you're not going to wake up one day with no sales if your sales have been steadily increasing, even by a very small amount, over a long period of time. So I'm going to have a think about that. What other metrics can I have? My weight is a good one, but there's diminishing returns there as well, because I can't endlessly keep losing weight. I'll fucking disappear. But I suppose once I get down to where I need to be in relation to my weight, I'm going to go up again. So I'm going to strip the body fat and then start putting on muscle. And we'll see how fucking heavy I want to get before I start losing weight again. And on that note, I'll chat to you soon.